Gladiolus. Knack. Can I have a definition? Ratoon. Language of origin, elucubrate. Luge. Kamikaze. Seraphine. Can you use it in a sentence? Feldenkrais. Champions. 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 Gladiolus. An old world plant of the iris family with sword-shaped leaves and spikes of brightly colored flowers.
I get to be part of this world that most people will only ever see on television and never in real life.
It was awesome.
Whoa! It was like walking into Hogwarts or something. You're like, I've read about this. Or
Like, is this just a dream? Is this reality or is it a dream?
Fantabulous.
The first day is the orientation day. That's like the kickoff day.
I was just bouncing off the walls.
But the next day, it's the barbecue day, and that's the most fun day ever.
There's this kid named Arvin Mahankali who won that year, and he's like a huge spelling celebrity. Like, he got third the year before that, and I remember seeing him for the first time and just like flipping out. Like, there he is, my hero.
And to see them setting up the stage that I've been like watching on TV back here, I was like, wow, it just completely blew my mind. I was like, this is amazing. I'm going to be on this stage. There's Dr. Bailey is going to be talking to me.
Dr. Bailey's this legendary figure, and he's like a role model.
I've always been like hearing his voice in all of these recordings of the National Spelling Bee.
Rumor has it that Drake's next mixtape contains a rap in which every verse begins and ends with a Bacchias.
I was like obsessed with all things spelling bee culture, so he was huge guy for me. And like, I remember meeting him at the picnic, and it was just a huge moment. This is Dr. Bailey, the word guy, smart genius, you know, he's awesome.
I brought this ball along with me to the Nationals.
I didn't really think about being on TV.
I would bounce this goal around with like a volleyball. Like,
I'm gonna spell these words. This is what I've been waiting for the past 5 years. This is it.
And it helped me relieve my stress.
I didn't even think about being on TV, just winning.
I just walked up there. It was kind of like I was watching myself from far away walk up to a stage.
It's actually a release. It's a joy. You kind of look at those kids spell, and my heart goes out to every one of them.
When I said, hi, Dr. Bailey, I kind of was like breathing when I was saying it. And what he said was, take a deep breath.
This is what I've been dreaming about since 4th grade. Like, this is the moment. It's gonna happen.
I just kind of calmed myself and was ready to get the word.
I never really thought about the millions of people watching me. I just thought about getting the word right, moving on to the next round.
I mean, I couldn't spell the words he would get. Like polyonymous, I still probably couldn't spell that.
Nobody can be 100% ready. There's nobody who knows the entire dictionary, but you can say, I did my best.
You never really feel like you're totally prepared because you're always worried about that one word that for some reason you just can't pull out of your memory. So I much prefer to be the pronouncer because I get to learn all the words, I get to study them, I get to work with them, I get to have the fun of being at the Bee, I get the front row seat every year. It's great, front, center. But you know, I don't have to have the worry about missing a word.
A noisy disturbance or quarrel.
You have to give up a lot of stuff that you may have wanted to do.
I used to do theater.
There's this field trip
It's amazing.
8th graders go to called AstroCamp.
As I got more serious about the spelling bee, I had to let that go.
You have to kind of make that decision of what you can chop off and what you have to keep.
I needed to study in order to be good.
So this right here is a set of PowerPoints that me and my dad made for the words that I wasn't sure about spelling or definitions for.
This is my program. It's what I used the whole time I was studying, basically.
And so here, we've got all these papers that my mom has been working on with different patterns and collections of letters from different languages.
So these words are obviously from a long time ago, pretty easy. You can hear my 4th grade voice.
Incidental.
Pretty high, pretty annoying.
And over here, we've got all these flashcards that we've stacked on this door.
So I have hundreds of lists in here for every list that I've studied. And so Austausch. Yeah, it gets harder. I can barely even remember how to spell these words anymore.
Sonnen or Zonnen.
Every once in a while, we will go and switch all these out with one of these hundreds of flashcards that my mom's made.
Well, if you wanna win, you gotta commit. You know, if we can stop it right now, if you don't want it, I'm not gonna force you to do it. But if you say I'm on, you have to be 100% on.
The dedication, the parents also show that shows up in one way or the other.
I try to time everything so that they don't feel frustrated and pressured and not liking it. So to do that's for me, that's the hardest.
Flush. 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 Flush.
Have you ever thought about an Olympic athlete and you think like, wow, how many hours must they have practiced to get to where they are? Like to be one of the best people in the world at what they do. And to me, practicing with him was not a burden so much as like, I feel like I am helping him to get to his best.
I think we were all kind of pushing towards the same goal in studying, and we're very happy. We were very happy in studying, and it was never really a fighting thing. We just kind of urged each other on to keep going and reminded ourselves that we're all going for the same thing.
One of my favorite quotes was a Martin Luther King Jr. quote that said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving."
The words snap together like little building blocks. And it was Mr. Vandermeulen who sort of really awakened me to that. You take them apart and put them back together however you want. So you can build a word like biospeleology out of biology and spelunking. You know, biology is the study of life. Spelunking is going into caves. So biospeleology is the study of life in caves. You know, you can take an otologist who's an ear doctor and a rhinologist and a laryngologist. And you can combine them all together and make yourself an otorhinolaryngologist. My mom noticed that largely what we had been doing was memorizing words. And memorizing is a wonderful skill and it should be fostered, and people don't do it enough. But her whole theory was, hey, at some point you're going to get a word you haven't seen. So you need to practice for that. And that's not about memory. That's about pattern recognition. That's about the meanings of the words. It's the history of the words. And so she started getting me more into exploring the dictionary as sort of a holistic thing rather than finding words that were likely to be in the bee and memorizing them.
CATAMARAN. A yacht or other boat with twin hulls in parallel.
One year I remember, I think it was the first year I ever went to the regional spelling bee. My brother and his friends took me, and for some reason they wanted to get me hyped up, so they just blasted Johnny Cash the whole way up. And I just wanted to like focus on like the spelling bee that I was about to go to, of course, but I don't know, they just thought it'd be a good idea if I got hyped up by Johnny Cash, so they were just blasting it the whole way.
I guess that drive over, my parents were telling me that I had to try my best, but I still had to have fun with it.
My dad's famous quote is, "Luck favors the prepared," and I think that's a great quote to represent the bee.
My dad had just the list, and he had underlined the words that I had misspelled previously. I knew them then, but just misspelled previously just in case.
Study all the time. Yeah.
We were just going over those words.
Halfway through the drive, I get tired. I'm like, oh, I can't study.
Definitely more nerve-wracking.
I'm not going to do anything because if I keep studying, I'm going to freak myself out.
There's only so much you can do, I guess.
Oh no, I have to study, and then it's kind of like a dilemma, go back and forth. Should I study? Should I not study? Should I just relax? Should I study? You need to study a lot. And you have to keep calm and not get worried about it.
I think I was very nervous when I got to the regionals competition, and because like it was a much bigger stage. There were actually like parents and people watching with cameras and stuff.
The words are a little more difficult, so it adds an element of kind of thrill to the competition.
Leotard, leotard.
Congratulations.
We went to Cooper's Friends Regional Bee, which is a separate one, and there's no pressure for us. It's not our bee. And I would look at his friend's dad, and every time he went on stage, his friend was like, he's like, and I was like, oh my God, that's what I look like, isn't it?
It's no guarantee.
Really stressful.
Very humbling.
Dramatic.
Because you just don't know how it's going to turn out.
So it was like this real roller coaster for us. We're like, ah.
It went on for 65 rounds.
I honestly was just frozen. Like, I didn't know what to do.
I was not expecting it to go that long.
Super excited. People came, took pictures of me. Like, it was my first time getting interviewed ever, and I was just out of my mind.
When I was in the Colorado-Wyoming bee, we had the bee in a basically the same studio where they did the local news. And it was kind of cool to go walk by and you'd see the weatherman, and then you'd see, the banks of, the TVs. And you realize, hey, this is where the news on TV comes from. And then they televised it. And that was pretty much of a new experience for me. I had never been in a TV studio. It was kind of exciting to see people who'd been on TV.
SARCOPHAGUS. A stone coffin typically adorned with a sculpture or inscription.
You hear the bell, and my first initial reaction was like, oh.
There was plenty of sleepless nights and frustration, I guess.
I don't know, I think I was just kind of in too much of like a high giddy rush kind of thing. I wasn't having enough time to process and think too clearly.
The word was Elysium. Really, when he gave me the word, all that was in my mind was the movie Elysium. And I kind of spelled it like that. If I hadn't known the movie, maybe I would have spelled it right.
It was colliginous. And the trick to that word is that it's CALIGINOUS rather than the GENOUS.
You should not give up just because of one small failure.
It's hard to come so close and to lose.
It's part of life. You don't win everything in life, right? You got to be able to handle the defeats.
I did want to be there for him and do whatever the right thing was to make him feel better.
You can lose a battle but win a war.
I said thank you for allowing me to be here, and I went to the quote-unquote sad couch.
We always referred to it jokingly as the sad couch.
It wasn't that sad of an experience, really.
Because that's a sad place, and I always worried about that sad couch. I think much more than Cooper did.
In a way, there was kind of a weight lifted off my shoulders, but It was also just a moment for me to reflect on how far I'd come.
He was like okay with it.
It was the best sad couch experience we could have had.
Yeah.
He turned down the cookie, which I couldn't believe, because they offer you cookie. That's your consolation
It's
cookie.
officially called the cookie couch.
The consolation cookie and the sad couch. It's called the cookie couch.
It just opened up an entire new year for more studying and performing better next year. I mean, it's not really the end, it's a new beginning.
Namaste, Dr. Bailey.
One thing that they might really learn is how to miss gracefully or how to win gracefully. You need to do both. It has to be done gracefully. You need to learn how to do that. It's a skill to deal with disappointment with grace and to deal with elation with grace. And so I think that that's the one thing that I think the spelling bee still has to teach. But by and large, they've got all their winnings before they get there.
LYCEUM, a literary institution, lecture hall, or teaching place.
We go to school at Lucas Middle School.
Went to Alcott Middle School.
I went to Culver City Middle School.
River Oaks Middle School.
It was St. Vincent de Paul School in Denver, Colorado.
My little pumpkin sitting on a...
I guess I was reading when I was 2.
He recognized his letters. He started kind of taking that of himself.
Ooh, runs the wind, and out runs the light.
I pulled into a gas station. I said, I need to get some gas. I got a 2-year-old Betty in the back seat, in a little baby chair all strapped in. Betty said, "It's closed, Dad." And I said, "What?" And I looked back at her. And I said, "What do you say?" She said, "It's closed." And I said, "Well, how do you know it's closed?" She said, "That's what the sign says."
All right, so this is all my trophies.
I've got a newspaper clipping from the first time when I went to nationals.
These 2 tall red ones here,
Got a lot of spelling trophies overall.
these are for winning regional bees in 2015 and 2016, respectively.
These 3 that look alike in the back are from the 3 times that I've won my school bee.
I give the full credit to my parents.
The whole idea was about learning.
She would be taking us off to the museums, encouraging us to learn like new words.
Australopithecus.
Be a little bit more knowledgeable
Australopithecus.
because it will just serve you well.
I think it really started up when I was in my 3rd grade year and my brother got 2nd at the state competition.
He was definitely motivated to spell and to be better.
You're gonna make the national bee someday. You're gonna be up on that stage.
Subrident.
Subrident.
There's nothing I really wanted to prove.
Subrident.
Maybe prove to myself that, I can do it.
I think really what drove me on to keep going in spelling bees was that I hadn't ever won one.
I have confidence. I can do it.
Every other language that I can think of, words are spelled the way they sound. What happened in English? 1066, William the Conqueror conquers England, and French is pouring into English like a waterfall. Then the Renaissance happens. You got all these people who are trying to revive classical antiquity and bring Latin back to life. Latin pours in like crazy. And that's why we can have a spelling bee, because English is this hypertrophied kudzu vine-like growth that just never stops growing, never stops adding new things. And we don't worry about making them all the same pattern.
Champion of the 2008 Scripps National Spelling Bee.
G-U-E-R-D-O-N. A reward or recompense.
Well, hello there, Spelling Bee. Congratulations on your 90th birthday. And first, let me say, you look amazing for your age, and your recent work is really some of your best.
I proved to myself that I can actually, compete at the highest level, even though little 4th grade me would have never even thought that was ever gonna be a possibility.
Cornea. C-O-R-N-E-A. Cornea.
Well, I mean, now I know about so many different topics. Like I know about geography, I know about medical, I know about entomology.
If I prepare or study more for whatever it is in life, whether it's the SAT or a college essay or something like that, if I study for it and I work hard for it, but I also make sure I enjoy myself at the same time, then everything I find will go well for me.
When I was 12 years old, I won the state spelling championship of South Carolina. I got to go to Washington for the national finals and meet kids from all across the country. It was a great experience for me. Thanks to the Spelling Bee, and happy birthday.
We, as the immigrant family, each person will have his own American dream. So probably this is ours.
I'd like to wish a happy 90th anniversary to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. One of the highlights of my career was hosting this fine event. Congratulations on your work to educate and inspire children. Well done.
Wow, this is really cool. You know, it opens doors. And that is fundamentally important at that age, to keep opening doors, to expose kids to as much as they can so they know what there is in the world.
Spellers, I respect each and every one of you who gets up on stage at spelling bees all over the country, whether you win or whether you lose. And you know why? Well, 2 reasons. First, because you are the people who take one look at spell check and say, no thank you. I think I can do a little better than that. And second, I admire you all because I'm British, and therefore I'm a terrible speller. According to Americans, I can't spell colour, centre, or ironically, humour. So, kudos for all your hard work, because whether you win or lose, you will always be better at spelling than every single person in Britain, and that, frankly, is not nothing. So happy birthday, Bee. Happy birthday.
CHAMPIONS, champions.